At Man City FanTV, we're really pleased to promote this wonderful sketchwork artwork by a lady called Leslie Ross. You can follow Leslie on Twitter at 111Leslie111 and also follow her on Facebook and Twitter at 9320art.
Hey guys, it's Harry here from Man City FanTV, back with my player ratings for Manchester City's win in the round of 16 of the Champions League first leg away in Schalke 3-2. But it wasn't like that, was it? It wasn't as easy as that. From the ridiculous to the absolutely sublime, City were... I don't even know how to sum up that performance last night. It was wonderful, it was bonkers, it was rubbish, it was brilliant. A proper Champions League tie, and the game played out not how I expected to play out. Schalke put up a really good fight, and well, VAR, the less said about that the better, because I have very strong opinions on that. And if you were in my household last night, you would have realised that. Maybe anyone on my street would have realised that I had very strong opinions about VAR last night, but that's a topic for another video. So here are my player ratings from Manchester City's victory yesterday. Starting off with our trusted goalkeeper in between the sticks, Ederson. Well, Ederson conceded 2 goals, which I think is a bit weird considering I'm giving him an 8 out of 10 rating. But he could have done nothing about the penalties. He nearly saved the second one, to be fair to him. And to be honest, apart from the penalties, he really had nothing to do all game. But the reason I'm giving him an 8 is because time and time again now, he's played key passes in the game. And the key pass for this one was for the third goal. A normal keeper, if you'd watch the footage back, would chip it over to Kyle Walker or simply play it into midfield. But Ederson sees Raheem Sterling making a brilliant run and plays an 80-yard pass straight over to Raheem Sterling, who does well to take it down and finish it. But Ederson, for me, gets an 8 out of 10 purely for that pass to win the game and shows what he's bringing to City much more than any other goalkeeper in the world. Moving on to the back three, I'm going to do it as a back three. So I'm going to do it as we're attacking, because obviously Fernandinho tucked in as a back four when we were defending, as you'd see if you watched the review yesterday with Ray about the game. They said that Fernandinho touched in as a back four when we were defending, and you can see that. But I'm going to go with a back three. I'm going to start with Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker played on the right as a back three, as he did for England actually, when in the World Cup in Russia. But I'm going to give Kyle Walker a solid 6 out of 10 because I didn't think Kyle Walker did too badly yesterday. I think the defence had a very shaky game, but Kyle Walker, for me, nothing really came through Kyle Walker's side. His passing wasn't abysmal. He was getting forward on occasion and creating a free opportunity. So I think Kyle Walker's performances on the whole have improved a lot, especially recently, despite his poor 2019 form. And I mean, out of the lot of the team yesterday, I think Kyle was quite good. And yeah, a 6 out of 10 for me for Kyle Walker. Moving on to the 2 other players, and first off, Nicolas Otamendi. He was sent off, and I mean that automatically puts the rating down. But first of all, the first yellow card that he got, for one, for me, shouldn't have been a penalty, and for 2, was never a yellow card. That just kind of added fire to the flames in terms of the debate on the penalty itself. He got a yellow card, and of course the second challenge was of course a yellow card. It was stupid from Nico, for me, to dive in at that point when he knows he's on a yellow card, and especially because the guy who he fouled, I think it's Birdsteller, was the only one up. There was no danger of him going through on goal. We also had Aymeric Laporte next to him, who could have cleaned up the danger, and also Kyle Walker was on the other side of him as well. So there was no need to make that challenge. It was stupid from Otamendi. Before that, I thought he did a fairly decent game, passing wide, but because he's got sent off, I'm going to have to give Nicolas Otamendi a 4 out of 10. And then who adopted a left-back position when we were attacking, Aymeric Laporte. It was a similar system to the way we set up against Arsenal. Actually, it was pretty much exactly the same. Pep liked to pack the midfield with ball players, and Aymeric Laporte was moved out to left back when we were defending. And to be honest, left back is not Aymeric Laporte's position. He's our best centre half, especially at the moment. So moving about there is always going to be a negative for our defence. But I didn't think Aymeric Laporte did too much wrong yesterday. He dealt with the winger on his side quite well. Made a few decent passes as well, and a very quiet performance, nothing wrong. So I'm going to have to give Laporte a solid 6 out of 10. Moving on to the 2 just sat in front of the defence. First of all, Fernandinho. Not his finest performance, but not his most disgraceful performance either from Fernandinho. He does what Fernandinho normally does. He sweeps up and gets rid of any danger. There's a few misplaced passes from Fernandinho, but I think nothing disgraceful. He didn't do anything wrong. He created a few opportunities as well himself. So I'm going to give Fernandinho again a 6 out of 10 because he didn't do anything special in the game, but he didn't do out wrong either. Moving on next to Fernandinho was İlkay Gundogan, and I don't think İlkay Gundogan's best performance was yesterday. He's been undroppable, as Pep Guardiola says in recent weeks, especially since the start of 2019. He's been, I'd say, probably one of our best midfielders. He's been creative. He's been good in possession, but yesterday he wasn't good in possession at all. He was giving away fruit for a lot for me of sloppy passes. I think he'd be sacrificed for the cup final as well. I know that's a topic for another day, who we play at the weekend, but I don't think he'll play at the weekend. I think the game should have been suited to İlkay Gundogan. We had a lot of possession in the centre of the pitch, and maybe his crossfield balls to Sterling and Bernardo Silva could have opened up the Schalke defence, but he didn't have any opportunity to. And in possession, I thought he was sloppy, and I'm going to give İlkay Gundogan a 5 out of 10 for yesterday's performance. Moving on to David Silva, who was just sat in front of İlkay Gundogan and Fernandinho. Not amazing again from David, who's not in the best of forms at the moment. But I thought he was very, very good on City's first goal. He's very alive. Sense that Sané took a heavy touch at the back, nicked the ball away from him, and set up Sergio Aguero for the opening goal. So for that, I think I'm going to give David Silva a 7 out of 10. I don't think he did much wrong either. He's just not his creative best, I thought. But a solid performance from the magician, and he got himself assists. So for that, 7 out of 10 for me. Moving on to Kevin De Bruyne, who I thought had a very mixed game. At points he looked like he was so rusty. The balls he was playing were so bad. It was not like Kevin De Bruyne at all. But then he'd pick out a ball and you just think that's Kevin De Bruyne in a nutshell. But for me, De Bruyne was a very average. I mean, if you're balancing it out, De Bruyne had a very average performance yesterday, and you can tell he's just trying to find his range of his passing. What he was brilliant at so much was last year was feeding it off the right and on his right foot, whipping the ball right across the face of goal. And you know, if Sergio Aguero didn't get to it, whoever's playing on the left yesterday was Raheem Sterling would get the tap in at the back post. But even them are not finding its man at the moment. So I think he might just be testing out his range. You know, he's had 2/3 of the season out of an injury, so you can't really complain. You know, a bit of rustiness, but I don't think it was Kev's best game yesterday, so I'm going to give Kevin De Bruyne a 6 out of 10. Moving on to Bernardo Silva, who again operated off the right and seems to have moved back out there, considering he was playing in the centre a lot at the start of the season. And I thought Bernardo Silva was one of our bright sparks in the game, especially in the first half. He was taking on his man with ease, I thought, on his side. And he created a few opportunities down his side as well. He's always looking to get involved, Bernardo Silva. Always wants the ball, always wants to create opportunities. So for that, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought it wasn't an outstanding performance. He didn't contribute with a goal or an assist, but on the whole, I thought he was really good and he was a threat. And I think Bernardo Silva, I think he's deserving of a 7 out of 10. And moving on to my man of the match, Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side. Name a better combination than Raheem Sterling in the Champions League. He turns up on these big European nights, Raheem. And he scores a lot of late goals for us recently, and it was another brilliant late goal. I mean, Edison with a brilliant assist, as I've pointed out before. But a bit of strength shown by Sterling to hold off his man, to chest it down, and it wasn't an easy finish. I know the keeping from Ralph Arman wasn't good, but the composure for Raheem in the dying seconds in a big Champions League match, and that could prove to be a big goal in the tie, to put that ball into the back of the net shows great composure, and he was always a threat down the left. I don't think it happened for him as much as he would have liked and as much as City and Pep Guardiola would have liked. But I thought he had his man all game, and he didn't create much opportunities, but he scored a massive goal and was always a threat. So for that, 8 out of 10 for Raheem Sterling for me. Moving on to our striker, and of course it was Sergio Aguero. Gabriel Jesus was left out of the travelling squad with a bit of a niggling. I think it was a hamstring injury. Pep Guardiola said in his press conference for Gabby. So Sergio started up front and got the opening goal. It's now 7 away Champions League games in a row that Sergio Aguero has bagged a goal, and just shows that his prowess in Europe is just as good. But I think apart from that goal, Sergio Aguero had a pretty quiet night, and you could see he was quite frustrated by then and a little bit tired actually. He snatched at a shot. He took a brilliant touch from, I think it was a David Silva ball, and got it on his favoured right foot, and he just snatched at the shot and pulled it horribly wide of the post. But I'm going to give Sergio Aguero a 7 out of 10 purely because he got a goal, and you know, every goal in that tie is just as important as the other. I don't think it was a brilliant Sergio Aguero performance, but he got a goal and does what he does best for us. And moving on to the bench, I'm going to go in order of when they came on for us. I'm going to start with Vincent Kompany, a man who I expect to play in the Carabao Cup final this weekend. His leadership's going to be key, and I think his leadership was key when he came on. Nicolas Otamendi obviously got sent off, and David Silva had to come off for Vincent Kompany to slot into that back three. And I think he was pretty good when he came on, Vincent Kompany. He didn't put a foot wrong. His passes were quite good as well. And I think it could be a nice little warm-up for him to get back into the swing of things for the Carabao Cup final on Sunday, because I think Vinny is going to be key. And I think he will play at the weekend as well, because Pep's going to need his leadership, especially in these coming months when we're in all 4 competitions. So Vincent Kompany for me, 6 out of 10. Moving on to a player who very, very closely nearly got man of the match for me, and I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 again. And it's our German wonder kid, Leroy Sané. Why on earth he didn't start this game, I have no idea. And I think that free kick smell of him saying to Pep, look, do not drop me again, because that free kick was an absolute wonder strike. He scored a similar one against Hoffenheim at home in the group stage in the last group game. But the strike was just superb. You looked when he looked up. He looked when he went to hit it, like, you know, he looks at it like you're thinking he could get this in the back of the net, and he did. It was such a magnificent strike, and I could sit here and craze about Leroy Sané all day, but he was just the impact we needed. I was screaming for him to come on earlier. He came on with about 10 minutes to go, but when he came on, he was brilliant. And for me, Leroy Sané, 8 out of 10, and he's got to start in the cup final this weekend. And I'm going to leave out Alexander Zinchenko because it was a bit too late for him to mark. He came on and showed up the defence did quite well. He actually did quite well with an interception right near the end, which Edison bailed him out of really getting into a fight with one of the Schalke players, but a bit too late to mark Alexander Zinchenko. But he's going to be all as important going into the latter stages when there's a lot of games in every competition. So there we have it. There are my player ratings for Manchester City 3, Schalke 2. Make sure you leave in the comments if you agree or disagree with my ratings, and leave your thoughts on that absolutely mental game. We now move on to Sunday in the Carabao Cup final versus Chelsea, a chance to get our first silverware of the season of hopefully more. So I've been Man City FanTV, I've been Harry, and I'll see you next time.